And it was just crippling anxiety. When I got hired here, I was just a train wreck. I felt like I didn't belong. I didn't know, kind of like, I'm old, everyone's young, everyone's so talented. What am I going to do?
Feitelberg just picked up a Lucy off the floor and popped that in.
Yeah, I was thinking, as I was sitting down, I was like, I only got one Lucy left. I don't know if it's going to get me through this interview. And I saw...
But it hadn't just dropped. It's probably been there for a while.
Oh, yeah, it's been there for a while.
That's probably been there for weeks.
But what does it matter?
It's
a disgusting floor.
Yeah, it's a floor.
Please.
People walk on the floor.
You think that... Do you have any idea?
The things
The
I put up in my
floors
mouth.
I've fucking eaten off of in my life? Are you fucking kidding me?
What do you think is? What do you think is?
talking about right now, guys?
What do you think is the grossest thing you've ever done?
The grossest.
Just like if you had to put it, like, what's the grossest thing you've ever done?
I got a bad answer. I don't think I've ever. I don't think I'm that gross. I don't think I've ever really done anything that gross.
You just did something gross.
No, I didn't. What? I had a fucking nicotine pack off the floor. First of all, it was not a used one because I'd be able to tell that. So it was.
I would sincerely hope that you wouldn't pick up a used nicotine pouch covered in your or someone else's dead saliva and pop that bad boy back in.
There is literally nothing you could put on this floor that if I wanted to eat it, I wouldn't eat. You could put a bowl of soup on the floor. If I was like, that was a good-looking gumbo, I'd wring it out.
I will say this: I don't eat things off the floor out of optics and not like I don't really care. About
Yeah, see, I like the
remember when we had like garbage gate at the old office. Somebody ate like a donut out of the garbage.
Yeah, I know who it was.
Who was it? No way.
But so my suspicions.
Did she ever get caught?
No, it's just my suspicions. This
was a young lady.
It was a young lady
who ate a donut.
So it was
trash?
like a donut, right?
It was no, it was
something.
It was something. It was maybe a cannoli because it was mine.
It was a pastry.
I had thrown it away, and then someone ate it.
And it was like in this one spot of the office where we had the eye in the sky, but you couldn't see. It was like the perfect crime.
Yeah.
And so we had like a whole, and I don't even know how it became a thing, or it was like how they even
Did she have
knew.
no other options? Like, why would you choose this?
I think she saw John eating it. She was like, "Where is that?" He was probably like, "I don't know." I threw it out, and she's like, "I want it."
I think that's how it went down. Yeah.
But like that, I wouldn't have a problem eating that out of the garbage. Other than I'm at Barstool and everyone's gonna like catch me, and it's gonna be.
You would do that at home.
Totally.
I mean, I've had that.
Well, definitely at home, it's your garbage,
dude.
I mean, like garbage. It's still something you're throwing away. You don't want it around anymore. Like,
I'm gonna get actually mad about this. Are you fucking kidding me right now? You wouldn't eat out of your own trash?
No, I would not eat out of my own trash.
I mean, like if I put like if there was like a old like rotten milk in there or something, like fine, but like my garbage. But my garbage is like if I throw out like an Amazon box and like a bag and like it's like like that kind of trash, and then like there's some food on top of that. Yeah,
dude, I
get in that exact circumstance, it's like somewhat forgivable. It's still like garbage.
Yeah, but that doesn't.
So if you let's say you have a delicious little treat of some kind.
Okay.
You throw it out. Let's say you're trying to lose weight, or not you, but I don't know. You're trying to eat better. I'm not gonna eat this.
Better.
So you throw it out, and then you're like, "Fuck, I really want that again." You're all by yourself in your own home. It's your garbage. You will say, "I'm not eating that."
Yeah.
Okay, I can give you the exact opposite example. There was one time I was living with a lady, and I threw out some Sour Patch Kids. They were just a little. You guys eat Sour Patch Kids enough to be able to tell when you got a stale batch?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and it was like, it's kind of
it's the texture.
It's the texture. It's getting chunked like stuck
it's
up
like
in
chunk.
your teeth.
Like honestly, chunky is not the right word, but like thicker.
You can feel it like glue into your teeth while you're eating it. Okay, so we all know what kind of Sour Patch Kids they were. I had a couple. I said I don't really feel like dealing with these. Threw them out.
Yeah.
Next night rolls around.
Yeah.
Next night rolls around. I'm laying on the couch going, boy, would I like some fucking.
You know what's better than no Sour Patch Kids is medium Sour Patch Kids, like
And the woman I lived with was in the bathroom at the time, and I thought, boy, is this a perfect time to go get some Sour Patch Kids out of the trash. And I was really dedicated to my mission, so I was like head down in the barrel, like going through stuff, and looked up and made eye contact with the saddest eyes I've ever seen in my life. And she was just standing there like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And I had so I'd thought this out. I was wearing a cardigan. I was like, just kind of comfy. I'd already filled a pocket with Sour Patch Kids.
No going
so
back.
I was like head down in a barrel. I had a handful of Sour Patch Kids already. I looked up like that when I heard a noise. And she was like, what are you doing? And I was like, And she goes, "Did you eat the Sour Patch Kids you threw away last night?"
She knows you well.
And I was like, yeah, I did. And then she started laughing. I took her hand and put it in my pocket. And I was like, it was like a squirrel. I was like, you think that's all the nuts I got? Look at all these ones too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a germ guy at all. I'll put my fucking hand on the subway pole. I'll put my hand on the escalator.
But then you wash your hands immediately afterwards.
Nah.
Oh, that's gross.
City's
so gross.
I have gotten better about that. Like probably through COVID when I started to like watch all these things on germs and realize. And sometimes you can almost feel it on your hands when it's gross like that. But like for the most part.
Nah, if I ride the subway to dinner, I will wash my hands before dinner.
Yeah.
But
I'll just say I forgot or I didn't. I wouldn't like. I'd be like, I don't know.
Yeah, like if I rode the subway at 2 p.m. and then go to dinner until 6, and I hadn't like I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't immediately get off the subway and wash my hands.
First thing I do when I get home. First thing I do when I come to work. Wash my hands.
No, dude.
See, I'll do it when I go home. I don't like. I'm not getting to the office and washing my hands.
Very first thing I do. I think the subways are just so filthy.
You're definitively right.
You're kind of right.
No, I mean, it probably.
Subway's
But like
nasty.
millions of people ride them every day, and we're just fine.
Oh,
No,
right,
it's not that. It's
That's
just-
why they're
But
disgusting.
like,
though.
yeah, but like everyone goes home and like nothing.
But everyone's like
happens.
sick all the time. I'm never sick. Like, and I think a lot of it is because like I think if you wash your hands, you're not likely to get sick.
I don't think I get sick that often.
don't
I
get
get stomach stuff. I get, but like that.
Yeah,
Well,
well, you're eating
probably
garbage
immune system is, your immune system is so robust.
I mean, John every day will be like, I've got food poisoning again. It's like it's not food poisoning. It's just like you eat like a
Right,
pack
you-
rat.
right,
Yeah.
yeah, spoiled food or something. Do you have like spoiled food?
Oh,
in your
definitely.
house?
Oh yeah, for sure, pretty
Oh.
regularly.
Like John
I
will,
also-
John will openly open up like the fridge and be like, "This is expired." Also, like expiration dates. That's another thing.
I don't
Those
believe
are
in
bullshit.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But John will eat something that is like, forget about what the date says. It is visibly and like taste wise, smell wise, rancid, and he will eat it.
I'll cut off the bad part though.
That's so gross.
I'll cut like if say I got a loaf of bread in the cabinet.
Cut off the mold.
I just rip off the mold and I
Even
eat
though
it.
that means that the other parts of the bread were like
right
1
there.
minute away.
But I got there beforehand.
Yeah.
That's
I cut the red wire, man. You know.
When my dad was a bachelor in the 70s, he got chicken, and I guess it went bad. And I think he just got home. He's like, "Oh fuck it, I'll just cook it." And he got so sick he was hospitalized.
Wow.
And from the day I was like 3 years old, like it was just beaten in my head. Like, do not eat spoiled food. Like expires, you gotta throw it out.
Dude, see, well, the same
It's a
thing
good
happened
lesson
to
to
me.
teach your child.
The same thing happened to me, and I just went the opposite way with it. Like I also got E. coli from spoiled meat.
I'm just gonna keep doing this
And
till
I
I have
was
an
like,
iron stomach.
I was
are you
like,
doing?
whatever.
Oh, guys.
Guys, so
This is
disappointing.
kind of on the same level. Friday night, I'm pretty sure I shit my pants.
I'll tell you what's more concerning is
awesome.
that you don't know whether you did or not.
Yeah.
They were
I think
black.
that's a pretty
They were
clear-
black briefs.
Yeah, but you still know.
Were they like-
Hey, look, I didn't like dump my pants, but like, here's the deal. I was.
trusted wrong fart?
It was. We were doing stand up in Providence, and it was before. I
You went
get
on-
like.
Did you go on stage with shit pants?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Two shows.
It must have smelled. It was shit. It would have
No,
smelled.
no one. Look, whatever it was contained within the pants because like we were in a green room, no bigger than we were this much space from TV to here. Like if it was, people would have commented. No one commented nothing, and I didn't really. Here's what happened. I went to go. I get the normal physio. I don't really get nervous doing stand up.
Was Francis in that room?
Yes. Okay. But I don't. I do get the. I get like I get a little antsy, but my body's physiological responses are pretty extreme. Like I pee 10 times before I get on stage. I pee every 2 minutes, and this weekend, farts were added to the mix. And so like I was
Added to the repertoire.
I was in the green room beforehand, like, poof, I am farting up a storm. And then I was about to go on, and I was like, I'm gonna get one more out, and then I was pretty sure I shit my pants.
So you don't like. Obviously, I guess you have to go on. So you have to do your set. But when you get back off, do you immediately like wipe? Like, all right, I got to take care of this.
I didn't even check. I figured just like don't look under the hood kind of deal, you know.
Then did you go home?
I went home, took my black boxers off, and showered. Again, it wasn't like some fucking nightmare of a mess, but I think I farted pretty hard.
It's a hard fart. I need I hope are there any picture or video of you from? I need one of those posts right now. Like he doesn't know it, but he's about to shit his pants before going on stage. POV.
Dude, I told myself I wasn't going to tell that story.
You lasted about 6 minutes.
Bro, I was like, John, we're just going to die with this one. I just felt it's like the first thing.
Imagine if you had like really sharded, like and you had to go on stage and you just like smell like shit. Because poop without water smells so bad.
I'm sure there are people out there who have done that. Like hey, this is my only chance for stage time. Like I had an emergency. Like I don't care if I was about to meet the president. Shout out Al Roker. I don't care if I was at the White House. I don't care what I did. You know that story, right? Al Roker shit his pants at the White House.
He did?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know which administration it was, but he went to the White House and he shit his pants.
God.
I told it like in his book. He probably was a lot like John. Like, all right, I'm never gonna tell anyone. And then he's like, publisher clear, or go to his publisher. So I shit my pants. At the White House.
Like the second there's a moment of gap in air, and you're like, I'll tell you. I got a story.
But I don't care what I needed to do or what was supposed to be done. If I shit my pants, like the night's over.
Oh yeah.
I'm going home to clean up.
All right, you want me to
actually I say that,
wrinkle?
but the one time as an adult I shit my pants. I was out with a young lady and I finished through the night. So like
how you like finished through the night?
Yeah. So I we were together. We were it was an ex. I like met up with her again. It was like one of those things where it was like, we're getting back together tonight. And everybody else went home. It was me and her like left alone. I went to the bathroom. I was at the urinal. I don't know what happened. I'm not really that guy. I'm not like a big poop, shit, fart, pants kind of guy, but I fucked up.
Congratulations.
I fucked up. Yeah. And I threw the boxers out in the bathroom.
Okay. All right.
And then I went home and when we got back to my apartment, like she went to the bathroom or something, and I ran into my room and put a pair of boxers on so that she wasn't like, were you not wearing underwear tonight? So, but I,
Wow.
finished through. But that's the only time, like as an adult, I really had a night like that. I think at this point in my life, I think I would make up a lie and be like, or I would say like, I'm having stomach problems, and if I don't go home, I'm gonna shit my pants, like I just did.
I had a real sales job, and I was living in Astoria, and I had to go meet a client in Baltimore. And I'm walking out of my apartment, and we had these like zip cars at this garage like a block away. I'm walking the zip car, and I fart, and it was a bad fart. I'm like, that smells gross. I'm like, all right, whatever. But I felt okay. I'm getting in the car, and now I'm on the bridge. Like, you have to go through like Staten Island to get to like New Jersey. It's that way. Yeah. And I'm in turmoil, and I'm like white knuckling it, and I'm like shaking, and like, and of course there's really nowhere to pull over. There's no breakdown lane. It's middle of rush hour traffic. I'm in my suit. Because I'm going to a sales meeting, so I'm in a full suit. I'm white knuckling it, and right when I get off the bridge, it just leaks out. It just spills out, and it's just like there's nothing you can do to even like. And you're trying to sit. Now I'm trying to sit differently so it doesn't like get on my suit even more. So you're kind of elevating your butt, and everything's like kind of damp down there, and you're like, oh my god,
going 120 now because you just.
Well, no, you can't. You're in traffic. It's the worst part. Like, and then so New Jersey has rest stops every like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So the second I get off, I pull into
That's the shame of it all. If you weren't in traffic, you could have made like another mile, you'd be fine. Yeah.
And I run into the rest stop. Luckily, it was overnight visit, so I had like a suitcase with me. So I bring the suitcase with me in the bathroom, and I pull down my pants. It's just a mess. And I'm trying to do a cleanup. Meanwhile, I do have a meeting I have to do in Baltimore. I was able to clean up pretty well, but and I obviously cleaned up the suit and everything the best I could. But there was a tiny little, like I'd say the size of like a pinky nail brown that was in those suit pants until I got rid of those suit pants. So for a couple of years, I'd always have that nice little memory of like, oh, that's right. I couldn't quite make it over the bridge.
The addition of your suitcase, the added wrinkle of my issue was that my luggage was sitting as close to me as Kevin is. It was Friday night, so I'd taken the train, and I went from the train to the venue.
So could have changed.
I could change. I was just locked in, though.
It's embarrassing. No, in fairness to Feits, though, like, how do you do that in the green room full of comics? You're like, I got to take my suitcase somewhere.
Come back in completely different clothes.
Yeah, right. Nothing changed.
These are my lucky stand-up pants, guys.
Doing that would say, okay, here's what we're doing the late show about tonight.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like,
hey,
everyone's going up and doing like 20 minutes on fucking. That guy shit his pants the whole.
There is just something funny. I mean, we've been doing this for a long time, and you just get a few fellas talking about their shit mishaps. And
you can tell the episodes Jackie's not on.
Poor girl's gonna have to edit this one. Like, God damn it.
So I'm very proud of myself.
Why?
You mentioned like losing, like I don't need to lose weight, which is true. I don't need to lose weight.
Putting them on.
I am now, according to BMI, for the first time in my life, not adult life, I am a healthy weight.
First time whole life.
I
knew you said that. I'd assumed adult life, the whole life.
Tell the people what your low water mark was as an adult for weight.
Well, my low was after my divorce. My low, I hit 108. I'm 6 foot. I'm 6'1".
6'1", 108.
I'll say this. I wasn't gonna say this, but I'll say it. My lowest weight at Barstool was 109. Wow. When I got hired, I hadn't eaten in really eaten in almost a month, and I have when I say I don't eat, I just have horrible anxiety, and I just don't have an appetite, and anything I eat I just shit out. And it was just crippling anxiety. When I got hired here, I was just a train wreck. I felt like I didn't belong. I didn't know I'm old, everyone's young, everyone's so talented. What am I going to do? It was just, like I said, crippling anxiety. I had no friends.
Did you ever think about not working here?
Oh, I would go home every night and cry to my wife.
But why not? Why did you torture?
Well, because here's what happens. I mean, I wanted to do content my entire life.
Okay.
I get to do Kirk's show, right?
Yeah.
Kirk has me on for a year. I do that show for a year. I get to do Barstool Idol. I do the show. I finish in 8th place, but then Dave Portnoy says, "Oh, I'm interested in this guy."
What did you do on Idol that just jumped out?
I was just kind of weird. I was just I think the video that Dave saw was me and Brandon talking about 1980s Braves. And I looked weird. I was like, all right. Plus, I was so skinny. I mean,
that is, you're the polar opposite of who usually gets hired, but either be really skinny or really fat.
Yeah,
right.
You're in with Dave.
And get hired, and now we're selling our house in New Hampshire. So I'm uprooting my wife and my dogs and my entire life. I'm moving away from my family to come back to New York. I don't have a place yet. I'm going every night. I'll go to a hotel. I don't have any friends, so I would work, 9 to 5 or 9 to 6, and I would go to this hotel and just sit there by myself. And then weekends I would go home to New Hampshire, try to sell my house. I don't know anyone at work. I was just a basket of, Kirk hates me, Rico hates me. I don't have any friends. I don't know what I'm doing. I was just I don't know where to turn. I was, Big Cat hated me. I don't know what to do. And it took me honestly until that ski trip we went on in December.
Yeah.
And we were all in a ski house. And it that was I was actually hanging out with people and built a camaraderie and built friends. I was I feel a lot better now.
But what made you want to do content if it was such a struggle?
Because I love doing content, I just couldn't get out of my own crippling fear for the first 6 months. I wasn't even tweeting.
That's impressive to I don't think I would push through it if I had that much.
Well, you also just but you also just sold your house and your wife wasn't I could just because I would go home and I'd be I want to quit, and my wife's you can't quit. You sold your house.
Yeah.
I'm fuck.
You're right. Yeah.
Gotta go to work tomorrow. And we're in this Airbnb, and I was this is and I was just in, and meanwhile I'm I finally had the thing I want. I finally had the dream job. I finally got what I wanted.
Way, man.
And I'm the most miserable I've been in years. I'm what the fuck is, and then you hate yourself.
Yeah.
You're what the fuck is wrong with me? But then it all works out. It's but anytime you go and get a new job, it's hard because you don't know anyone. I'm sure people listening to this can relate. You get a job that you've always wanted, you get a job, and it's oh fuck. Kind of a dog chasing its tail. I got what I want, and now maybe I'm not happy. And is that
I think that's a lot. I mean, I saw a bunch of memes floating around with the Katy Perry, Gayle King stuff. Gayle King came back with that face that was kind of her hair was disheveled, and she was kind of it was almost fuck this. Why did I do that? And there was a couple memes that were me coming home from the first day of work for the job I prayed for, and now I got it. And I'm oh fuck.
What have I done?
Yeah.
And I was at 109, and now I'm 141. So I was
I mean, that's a diesel. That's a diesel weight gain.
In what, 2 years, year and a half?
Almost, yeah. 3,
I mean, I guess looking at you don't look as big of a freak, but I wouldn't say he looks
Once you said you put on weight, I could very clearly see it.
I went back last night and I looked at some clips of me when I got hired, and my cheekbones are so gone. Don't get me wrong, I'm still crazy skinny, and the BMI thing is crazy. The idea that this is a healthy weight is wild.
Right.
But but you look at it, it's oh no, my pants,
I'm
on the 2 belt buckle, I was on the 4, the 5, before. It's you can see that.
God damn.
Crazy.
And a lot of it was from quitting drinking.
Yeah.
Well, that'll do it. But yeah, you quit and you gained weight.
Yeah,
right.
Because the drinking,
not most people's experience.
Drinking, I didn't realize how much it upset my stomach. I would have diarrhea twice a week, bad day, emergency. I gotta go, and it must have been some sort of allergy I got or whatever it is. And then when you have diarrhea, you don't have an appetite. You don't want to eat. So it's all right. So it's kind of and then once I quit drinking, I just started replacing it with juice, and I feel and I don't really. I say quit drinking. I'll drink at social occasions. I've had 6 since mid-January. Total drinks, but I used to drink 1 or 2 every single night.
Yeah.
Look, if you're going to trade crypto, do it right. Don't use sketchy platforms, no sketchier customer support. That is why we only trust Kraken. Kraken lets you buy, sell, and swap over 300 cryptos without the lag, crashes, no clownery, no nothing. Okay, buying crypto manually, that's old school. Recurring buys let you automate your investments so you stack sats without even thinking about it. DCA done right. Buy more when the price dips, less when they spike. That's how it works. It's pretty simple. Link your bank in minutes, set it, forget it, and let your portfolio grow. Kraken Pay is instant crypto payments. No more "I'll Venmo you later" excuses. Those never work out. Whether you're covering a lost bet, splitting the tab after a night out, or sending funds for the next wild adventure, Kraken Pay lets you move money instantly with zero fees and no banks holding them up. Oh, and refer your friends. Kraken will hook you up with up to $200 in USDG just for spreading the love. So quit waiting. Head to kraken.com/barstool. Not investment advice. Crypto trading involves risk of loss and is offered to U.S. customers excluding Washington, New York, and Maine through Payward Interactive Incorporated.
Yeah, you said that the other day, and some people were like, "Can you believe that?" And I was kind of like, "Well, you know, first of all, people from Klemmers era, like 100 years ago, do that all the time."
I was gonna say 2 a night, like that's
called a nightcap. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. It's
yeah.
like I mean, my parents have had like their nighttime cocktails. I don't really do it, but like I watch them do it for my whole life. Like my mom has like vodka water with a little bit of lemonade in a pint glass, and my dad has one too or whatever. Like I think my mom made him stop drinking whiskey. He used to be like a Jack Daniels guy. I don't think he's allowed to do that anymore. But like, yeah, they just have a drink like
again,
every
like,
night.
that house I grew up in, family I grew up in, like a couple drinks a night that's normal.
That's not
That-
even
that's
that
like-
doesn't even register. to
No,
me. Like,
and, like-
but somebody said like I think Nate was like he's had alcohol in his system like for every night for like. And I was like, shut up.
Well, yeah, it's funny. He's like, for 25 years. Well, yeah, I'm 45. So,
Right.
like, yeah. Like,
It's an adult.
It's
It's
an adult
adult
got a
thing,
couple
and
drinks
it's also
that-
like
yeah.
it's like adult alcohol in a system. It's like and what is it? 1 drink an hour is the thing. So it's like you have a couple drinks, your body filters it out. You're fine.
Well,
Like,
dude,
you're fine.
that's exactly how I used to like when people would be like, alcohol is poison. I was like, yeah, while it's in me, but then I take a piss and I'm
It's
fine.
gone. I mean, yeah.
But I still have like I don't want to limit myself. Like if I go somewhere socially, I'll have like 1 or 2. I'm just trying to control myself better. So like,
Sure.
and
like
I think
anything.
it's worse.
Moderation.
Like yeah. And
When
like,
do you think, because you're a little older, when do you think the, like, I guess the tag of like alcoholic, when did that start? Because I feel like our generation or millennials, I feel like started drinking a little bit less than other generations.
I think so, right.
And then now Gen Z, apparently it's plummeted, which I am not sure I totally believe, but and then we were talking about why it plummeted with Gen Z, and we were like, it's probably because it has a name now, like alcohol.
well, alcohol. I mean, alcoholic was a thing. Even like remember, like the '80s was like there was like a made-for-TV movie about the guys that created AA. So like even then it was a thing. You have like a lot of like best. You guys
But was
But
it
even think about that, like they were creating it then, right? Like when did they?
yeah,
well,
so
in the
it wasn't
40s.
that popular.
Oh, is that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you
so
said 40s?
I think the 40s. I think they came back from the
Oh,
war, and
okay.
these guys, Bill and Bob, created Alcoholics Anonymous. Like so, there was always like a name. Like I'm not that old where I don't know a name for it, but like in my opinion, like being alcoholic is like when your life becomes unmanageable. And like sometimes like my drinking, like when after surviving, I went out and I got really drunk, and I was like kind of a dick to Whitney, and I was kind of a dick to Jeff D. Lowe, and I'm like, I don't want to be that person. Like, why am I doing this to myself?
Yeah.
So it's like I got to control myself. So like I'm at a point right now where drinking is making part of my life unmanageable. Like I'm not in control. So dial it back a little bit. And like I said, I'll have a great drink if it's a social occasion, but I'm not drinking as consistently as I was.
Right.
Yeah, I was never like go home and drink a 6-pack like every night kind of guy. It just wasn't my jam. But I know, I mean, everybody in my family kind of was. It was like
I wasn't much of a drink alone guy, but kind of the same thing as you, where it was just like with this job, like
you're always
every
doing
night
something
is someone's
social.
night out.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, it's their night out. I want to fucking have a good time with them.
Yeah.
And then eventually you're like, I can't be having that many drinks every night.
And I don't want to blame Barstool, but like I definitely think like where before in my life, have a regular sales job and I work with people of all ages, but people have like wives and kids and like they're older. Here, I'm thrown back in with young people in their 20s and 30s who like to go out, and they should. And it's like, oh, I want to. These are my friends. I want to hang out with them too.
Yeah.
And like, I physically really can't keep up with them. I'm not drinking regularly enough to have the tolerance. And it's like, oh, this isn't like a good fit for me anymore. I got to like scale things back.
Yeah.
The reason I drank at night every night was I have like really bad insomnia. Like I don't go to sleep most nights till like 2 or 3.
Bro.
And it would just help me get to sleep like an hour earlier.
Nowadays, like I've been smoking a lot of weed recently. That's saving me. But like trying to just go to bed raw dogging it. Oh, just the existential dread takes over. I overthink like every single thing in my life. I'll wake up in the middle of the night like,
Oh yeah.
and then like the morning, like once the day starts, I get going. I'm fine. I get here. I get to work. I'm fine. Go home, watch some TV. But then it's like it's almost like the sun goes down and like it comes out. You know what I mean?
I remember having trouble with that, and I was talking to a therapist about it.
I gotta go back to therapy. I gotta, man.
And she gave me a line that like still sticks with me to this day, where she was like, because I was like, I can't sleep. I can't sleep. Like I can't. You know, if I'm going to sleep sober or whatever, I was like,
and that
I can't.
is such a vicious like sleep begets everything. You know,
right?
What I mean? Like,
and she was just like, assume you wake up every morning with a 100% phone battery. It's your job to drain it. And that will make you tired, and that will help you fall asleep.
Sure.
And I was like, oh, I never thought of it as like it's my job to tire myself out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then
that would definitely help. I mean, working out and all that shit. But I also think from a mental point of view of just like.
But like that's what I mean. Like it wasn't just like fit exercise. It was just like everything. Like think like I started to realize, like okay, we do a podcast. I'm 15% down, and then I'd go do this. I'm 15% down, and then I like when I was like.
And if you stop there, you're at like 80%.
Right,
like, that's
but
not
then
enough.
you got to keep going, going, doing things, and you're
Yeah.
like, all right, I'm under 10%. I can probably fall asleep tonight.
Right.
Yeah, I also like when I go to bed at night. This is what happens when your dad dies young. I feel like I'm quitting on the day.
Oh,
and I'm like, I'm quit. I lose. If I go to sleep, and I can't. I know it's not like a healthy way to look at things. I know it's like a rational way to look at things, but I can't help but feel that way. Like when I'm like, oh, I guess that's today. That's this day. I'm putting in the books.
I don't think of it that way, but I do think of sleeping in. Like I read something the other day that said like if you can pick one morning a week to sleep in and like regenerate a little bit, like you'll have like infinitely better everything. You know?
Yes.
And it makes sense. It's just like, yeah, give yourself like one day to really like get back in you know, like in the black. And so I was thinking of it like that, as like the same way you sleep at night and the same way you eat meals to like, you just need like one day for some extra sleep. If I sleep in, I wake up like, if it's like close to like 10 o'clock, if I wake up at like the 9 o'clock hour, I'm like, you are a piece of shit. You are a like a despicable bum. Like wake up,
Yeah.
or like same thing with naps. I still stand by this. I think if you're an adult who naps, you're not a serious person. But it's like
I used to think like that too. Then I turned 40. And I don't know what happens. Sometimes I just never.
Don't get me wrong. I'm also the guy. Like I'm full blown the Thanksgiving uncle meme. I will fall. You've seen it a million times. I'll fall asleep. Like, but I think if you like, I'm going to bed now. Like I'm gonna go get into under my covers at 2 p.m. I'm like, you're a child.
No. I mean, like you're just on the couch, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're like, oh fuck! Like I fell asleep.
Yeah, no,
like,
that happens all the time to me.
and that never happened before I turned 40. Never.
Yeah, well, yeah, we're definitely getting older, and that's for sure a part of it. But that feeling of like, I wake up and I'm like, everyone else is at work, or, you know, I also have like, you know, I'm thinking like, if I wasn't divorced, I would have to get up and get my kids to school this day. And so that, you know, everything like comes back to something else where it's like, and you know, that's why I feel like I'm almost like a workaholic here. Cause it's like, as long as I'm doing something here, I can always be like, well, I was doing that, as opposed to like addressing all of my shit.
Oh no,
you know
that makes
like,
total sense to me. Like, and that's why another reason I love coming. So I'll sleep in. It's funny because I'm backwards. I'll sleep in, and I don't feel guilty about that. But I feel guilty about going to bed at night.
I'm almost like, it's like I'll be up. I'll watch a show and then do like a recap, and so I'm working until like midnight.
Right.
And then you logically like get that back on the back end instead of waking up at like 8, like sleep in a little bit. But I don't work that way. It's just like my brain thinks of that as a bad thing to do.
They say younger people have better, like, I think like our generation, we have more anxiety about work. Like I come in every day because like if I don't come in, not because I'm this great worker, if I don't come in, I'm anxious that what's happening without me, or I feel like I get anxiety about not coming in.
Bro,
right?
I read a pretty interesting thing about the younger generation and that belief.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, it was basically saying there isn't money anymore. And so what the younger generation sees as a status symbol is having free time. Because like, no one's making money. So having free time is
the new, like I made it.
Is like the, like, well, that's like, look at you. That's very impressive of you that you can show up to work at 10 or leave work at 4 if you want. Like you've really achieved something here. You still make $30,000 a year, but
we're all broke and shit. I mean, I find it to be like that, this generation of like, you see it a lot with like Erica's content will always be like, this employee of mine from this generation, this employee of mine from this generation, they're totally different. Like the kids who are like, I work from 9 to 5. That's it. I don't come in on the weekends.
Yeah.
I don't. If you schedule a call outside these hours, I will not be a part of it. It makes sense, but I'm also like, are you out of your fucking mind? Like,
I mean, when I had a real job, like if I had a client on the West Coast, like guess what? I gotta like figure it out. Like I'm not gonna be like, sorry.
But I view it that way. But I can also see their logic of like, you pay me for these hours. If you're not paying me for these other hours, I'm not doing it. I'm like, good for you for having those boundaries, but it is not how I'm programmed, you know? And it's also like, I hate to say, at least now I still feel like you can go do that. I don't think you're going to get ahead.
That's the thing.
Maybe another generation of these guys get in power and they understand that, then maybe fine. But like, okay, you can do that, but you're going to get passed over for the promotion, the bonus, the whatever, you know, the raise, like. But
you do see like I know like back in our grandparents' day, like people wore suits every day in the office.
Yeah.
And like it took the boomers to be like, let's not do that anymore.
Do that.
And then Gen Xers are like, yeah, let's not do that anymore.
Yeah.
So like you can see shifts generationally.
Yeah.
It's just you're right. It takes 2 generations.
I was saying a couple weeks ago, we as a society fucked up. Like we were given working from home and we abused it, and now people are like, you have to come back to work because none of you're all fucking around.
Yeah.
If we were just cool about it, like. Get your work done. Don't exploit it. Don't post pictures of yourself by the pool. Don't, you know what I mean? But we went too far with that, where it's like, and now people logically are like, yeah, okay, wait a minute, I'm paying you to just like hang out at your house. Fuck that.
Hated working.
Hated. I can't believe anyone who doesn't like an office.
It's so lonely.
It's so, dude. I remember
I'm
like
cool with
a bit, particularly like COVID. Like I was like, how am I supposed to do? Like I'm just sitting in my room. What am I supposed to fucking like? There's no cooperation. There's no
catalyst.
Working. Like everything good that I think has come from Barstool was like started as just like a little conversation at a desk, and you can't have that if you're working from home. Slack doesn't. You don't have those conversations on Slack or GChat or email or text or whatever the fuck you use. Like you don't talk like that. The only way to like I think it was Maya Angelou maybe said like thinking happens in talking, thinking happens in conversation, and like. That's 100% true, particularly in content. You can't just fucking. I mean, look, some people can. I can't. I can't just sit there and be like, "This is a good idea. I should go do it." It has to be like conversations and then encouragement and fleshing out and all that shit. And then you're like, you know what? This actually is a good idea. Let's fucking do this. And that just doesn't happen on the internet. Like not conversing in like text format, however that is. You don't have a regular conversation.
See, I'm kind of the opposite. I could do, like, I struggle with. I can do 1 minute man like pretty quickly now. You know what I mean? Like it used to take a long time, used to take like multiple people. Now I can kind of, when I'm like doing a real video, I'll send it to my brother. He edits it. But if I'm just like trying to get something out there, I can just do it. And I've done 1 million of them now, so I can do them pretty quickly. And part of me is like, part of me is like, I kind of earned the ability to do that. And now I have like this platform where I can do it quickly. But then it also leaves all this other time to like, do I just keep going? You know what I mean? Where it's like, I don't know, if I can do this thing faster than you, with less resources than you, takes less time than you, but we end up getting the same output, technically, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You work 8 hours, I work, 50 minutes, whatever it is, but we're, as long as the output's there. But then I start to think of like, well, you have all this extra time, keep working, do more, but it's, at some point it's like you get good at something or earn the right to do something that doesn't take you 100-hour weeks anymore.
Yeah, well, one of my mentors.
But if you just keep adding to your plate, it never stops. You know what I mean?
When I was in sales, I had a mentor, and he was like, "Work smarter, not harder." I know it's kind of cliche, but he's like, "No, but that's actually like a real thing. Like, I'd much rather pay you to make smaller but good decisions than a bunch of like shitty ones.
Yeah,
or a bunch of like wasting time.
If there's more free time. It's like the free, like you were saying about having free time.
Yeah.
It's like kind of this currency, and it's like, what do you do with that free time? Like, do you just kick it and watch some TV and like enjoy yourself, or are you like doing something more constructive with it? Because I feel like I take that free time as like a negative. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I work hard at this thing to get good at this thing, to be able to do it quickly and to know how to do it so I can do it efficiently, and that leaves me with more free time. But now that free time is making me feel like guilty.
Right.
So it's like, fuck, I find it very hard to turn off, like, and just chill. And it's like, I don't know. I worked really around the fucking clock for a decade at the beginning of Barstool. And then, so the last 5 years are like a little bit easier,
No, that's but does that make you happy? Like, I know, like,
it should or whatever.
I was unemployed during COVID. And like, I did not like it. like the weather was nice. I could hang out with my dogs. My wife was working from home. I could take care of her. I would make lunches, but like I wasn't like I didn't feel fulfilled. I like having a really busy schedule. Like I like knowing I like planning my day. Like I know this, and this, and I like that feeling of I guess it feels productive to me. Even if I'm doing kind of goofy stuff, like going to the movies and reviewing something.
If I do like one thing for the day, I'm like, all right, I accomplished something. Like I used to be the king of doing nothing, and now I find that gives me anxiety. And so I'm like, I almost have to earn my nothing. You know what I mean? It's like, let me get up, do a couple videos, let's do this podcast. Even like today, I had a couple extra hours. I'm like, let's just do this podcast now, keep it going. And then I can go home and be like, I did something for the day. But like now when I have just a free day, and it's like, dude, just take that day because the last 6 have been crazy.
Right.
But I just can't, I don't know. That's probably a older generation, Irish Catholic, fucking, how I was raised, all those sort of things where it's just not, in my DNA. But it would be nice to be a little more relaxed.
I think the younger generation has like the post-millennial generation has a good finger on the pulse of certain things, of some of that stuff. And sometimes they can go too far, but they're also young. That's what young people do.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of what they have is as far as like, I hate like the work-life balance thing, but like, as far as just like kind of appreciating kind of what work really is, because like at the end of the day, like your job doesn't care about like I worked at a bunch of different companies, and like at the end of the day,
they don't give a fuck about you.
They would like, especially back in like their early part of the 2000s, they'd be like, we're family. They would try that shit. It's like, get the fuck out of here. You'll fire me tomorrow.
Cut me tomorrow. Yes.
Like get the fuck out of here.
Well,
like,
that also, I think there used to be a pretty clear path of like go to school, get a job, work for XYZ years is enough to get a down payment and get a house.
Yes.
And so there was like a process to follow, and the work world like held up their end of the bargain. Like you got the money you needed. Now, if you don't get that, it's like, well, why am I doing? It's like you said, like none of us are making money, so fuck this. Like there's no badge of honor. It's like having a career now. It's like this is all just a means to an end, and if you're not getting the end, fuck the means.
It's impossible to buy a house if you're under 40 and you live like on the coasts.
Yeah.
Like it's
like impossible.
Unless you have a
what
job.
What happened though? Like prices.
The market went crazy.
Like prices have just increased at a much faster rate than wages have risen. Is that
people blame the boomers
for
being greedy in the market? Like I know, like when my parents bought the house on Long Island in '82, it was like $40,000.
It's crazy.
And like people now say the house is worth say $750. Like there's no way our pay went up 200%.
Right.
Or whatever.
Can't happen.
2,000%. Whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's just no way. So I think that's part of it.
What's interesting? I don't know how that happened.
The banks got more power too.
Yeah, the bank. Like I remember learning how student loans actually are the problem. Part of the problem, at least.
Huge problem
for a college, because the schools know that you're going to take out a loan, so we're going to charge through the roof.
Yeah.
And if those kids can't get loans and they cannot get this money, you have to drop your tuition, or no one's going to go to your school.
Right.
But as long as they know that you can go get these loans with no proof of anything, no proof of ability to pay it back, but they're just like, all right, if you're going to inflate, we're going to inflate.
Dude, I saw the other day, like, colleges are fairly standard that they cost $90,000 a year.
Fordham is $100,000 a year.
I was in college 15 years ago. It was half that price.
Bro, like that used to be like maybe Harvard. The Ivies were like $100,000. Now it's even think pretty fucking standard.
Maybe I'm wrong. I thought it was pretty standard when I was applying to colleges that like they were all in the 50-60 range.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I wasn't hitting the Ivies.
Someone? So you got out of college, you owe $400,000. And the crazy thing is, if you go bankrupt, the college loan stays with you.
Yeah,
because you can't foreclose.
You
can't repossess a diploma. So you can't repossess knowledge. It's kind of theory, but it's also their way of kind of grabbing you by the balls.
Yeah.
But yes.
But also, then
isn't
there? I mean, I was very lucky enough. My parents paid for my college. I didn't have to deal with that. So, but like, also, do you not reach a point where you're just like, I don't know, I'm just gonna have debt till I'm dead?
Yeah.
You guys want the stats?
Do they start to like
that will destroy you though?
Stats.
Yeah.
The average student loan is $41,000
a year.
That's what they have.
Yeah.
The average student has $41,000 in loans. It takes an average about 20 years to pay off.
Crazy.
The overall is in America is 1.7 trillion, Jesus. And there's 42.8 million borrowers. So there's 42.8 current people with debt.
With debt. But like to me, that's almost like I guess
42 million.
42.8 million.
So New Hampshire, by the way, is a population of 1.3, something like that. So that's like what, 38 New Hampshires?
All in debt. Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
But I get I guess if that
New York City's 8 million people.
if that kills your credit or they start to like garnish wages or something, like I don't know, wouldn't it just be, I would just be like,
Yeah, but
I'll pay that when I'm dead.
But then
I don't
you
know.
can never. But Kevin, if you're like 28 or even 38 and that you do that, like you can never buy a home. Like you can never. It'd be hard
Well,
to
that's
buy
what
a
I mean.
car.
Like, so, like, yeah, is
Like,
that
it would affect
because they
your
run a
would be
credit check and you're just like, you
destroyed.
never pay this.
Yeah, you have like,
but like,
and
but
it never goes away.
I guess I'm saying I would pay like the minimum to not hurt my credit, which probably still is.
Yeah, you
is
pay the minimum,
amount.
but then they own you forever.
But that's what I mean. It's almost like
You got to pay
I
more.
know
than
you
want to
get out of it, but like,
Yes.
if you literally can't, you just got to accept it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
It's
a
like-
horrible thing to accept. That's a lifetime of debt.
Bro, I'm with you, but it's almost like
What Obama did
It's
his
like-
off
I would
until
think of it
like he
like
was a
taxes,
president, right?
you know what I
Wasn't
mean?
he
It's
like
like-
running for president? He paid his off. Took Obama that
Yeah.
long.
Yeah,
sure.
I think so.
I think that it's something like I don't know the economics of it, but like it feels like one of those things they could just like forgive and like start fresh. You know what I mean?
Well, then it becomes a political issue.
Yeah.
And then you have people saying,
But,
well,
like-
and then I also, fairness though, what if you're a kid that I want to be an auto mechanic? I never went to college. Now I'm forgoing a debt that I never got to take advantage of and I never
Yeah.
asked for?
I know, but
That's not
that
fair.
yes, I agree. But it's also like I don't like when people are like, I had to do this, so you have to do it too, or like I didn't get to benefit from that, so you don't either. It's just like I don't know. I think the world would be a better place if this wasn't a thing. And so if some people get, the short end of that stick,
If
that
you
sucks.
think like
but-
that, you're a scumbag.
Yeah, it's just like you're just a selfish.
Like, oh, if I had to do it, you have to do it too. Like, no, you shouldn't have to do the hard things I did.
Right,
Like
that the
goal
world
of
should be getting
civilization
better.
is
Yeah.
to make
If
it
every
better.
generation thought like that, we would still be in caves. Like,
Yeah.
think about,
Yeah, but
think
a lot
about
of
all
people
the
do think
stuff
that way.
that 3 generations had to do that we never had to do.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and also,
fucking
by the way,
ice boxes
the
and
things
shit.
I did weren't that fucking hard. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
like I didn't grow up this incredible hardship, but I hope that it's easier for the people after me.
It should always be easier, more affordable, better if it can be.
Anybody our age grew up with cable TV. Life wasn't that hard.
Right, right.
Like we had it like, but my whole, so if you went to college and you're saying that, or you paid off, like I paid off my student loan,
Yeah.
I would have no issue forgoing other people. Like I don't want other people to have to deal with that. It's a bullshit. It's also, I think it's like predatory. I think it's all really
Totally.
really shitty thing. But I do though feel bad for anyone who didn't go to college because either they couldn't afford it or what have you, that it wasn't their choice, and now they are somehow on the hook for that. That's
I
kind of
do
shitty.
feel
so I kind of
bad,
see it
but
both
I'd-
ways.
I'd
Yeah, I feel
rather
bad, but like it shouldn't
It's
prevent.
better than.
Yeah.
And also, like, I mean, I guess this is a bad example because it's not working. But like, you do see like Trump is just like, we're doing this tariff thing. We're just fucking doing it. And it's like, if somebody really just wanted to like make it their issue and be like, we're forgiving this debt or we're changing, like some of these sometimes.
Biden
was
ran
good.
on that.
Yeah, Biden
Yeah,
ran.
but like he didn't do it, right? Like it never
No,
happened.
he like it was like, I wouldn't even call it a half measure. I'd call it like a.
They
third
like
of a
what?
measure.
Right. They started it.
Somebody just do it, and like, and maybe
Some
I'm wrong.
loans
Maybe
got forgiven, but like a very small, like people still.
They started it like right at the end of the
Yeah, I think that's when it
administration.
finally-
administration, so we couldn't like, yeah.
It finally got approved. It was a long.
I think it was like it
because
got-
it became political football.
Yeah,
I think it was. And correct me if I'm wrong, please. I believe, as I understand it, it took a long time. They got it at the very end. I think it was kind of like a let's do this to get some votes, and then I think Trump killed it. Like day
right.
one.
And I mean,
That-
like
that all
the
tracks.
tariffs is
Yeah.
probably a bad example because we're seeing how it can affect things negatively. So if someone just came in and said, stroke of a pen, all is forgiven, and then the banks are like, well, now this is happening.
Well, in theory, you'd have inflation.
Right. But I'm just saying that, like, it used to feel like nobody can do anything. It's like, you can if you want to, if you're crazy enough, you know what I mean? Or if you're a political party just doesn't play by these, like, rules where you get stuck in, and I think those kind of guardrails exist because you look at what's going on with the tariffs. It's like, this is why we don't do radical shit. But it just is like, I do feel like if you can get enough people to agree to do it, you could just do
Someone
it.
needs to hold these colleges accountable too. Like they've raised their tuition, like we said, so much. And like, what are you putting in? Like you're putting in stuff that you think will attract students, but like no one really asked for like these video game rooms. Or
Right.
if you told these college students, I'm guessing most of them, hey, we'll drop your tuition by X if you get rid
But
of
you
some
don't
of these,
get a
fountain in your fucking
agreed.
middle
agreed.
of the cafeteria. I'm guessing they'd be okay. with that.
I do think that there's probably some sort of correction coming, again, based on like generational shit. Like I don't think I'm going to be like, my kids have to go to college. I think when my kids are of age, if they'd rather go into a trade or like, hey, take this money and like start a business with it or something, like I see the value in it, but by the time they're going to school, it'll probably be $200,000 a year. And it's like
People used to look down on.
at
Remember,
some point,
like when we were kids, our age, you going to a trade? Oh,
yeah.
Now why are you doing that? Go to college.
Now it's like,
Meanwhile,
go be a plumber, bro. You're gonna own the family business and like you're retiring like tomorrow.
And you have ultimate job security.
Right.
You always need plumbers.
Right.
And now the older generation is all retiring. You try to get something done at your house. You know how it is. It takes you days to get someone who can even come in and do it. Even look at it. Look at Eddie with his drywall. Like that's not a.
I think it was like probably like 2007, something like that. It was right before I went to college, and my parents had. I honestly don't know how they ended up there, but they were at a dinner with Warren Buffett. And my dad was the only question I wanted to ask him was, because I was getting ready to go to college, or so maybe it was 2006. And he's like, all I wanted to ask him was his thoughts on the college experience and stuff like that. And he was like, Mr. Buffett, whatever he said, we have a son who's of age. Like, do you have any recommendations for college and that thing? And again, like you're saying, like when we were younger, like this is a very crazy view. But he was like, give them $100,000 and tell them they can do what they want.
That's what I was thinking about doing. Is like just be like, within some reason, I'm not gonna let you go like be a DJ or something like that. But like, here's the money I would help you with or pay for school. Like, you can do what you want with it.
And obviously, that is an extreme thing because 99.9999% of people cannot afford to just give their kid $100,000 out front.
Yeah.
But
what's crazy, by the way, is it's like now that's like, okay, you're gonna pay for 1 year of college now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the time that paid for 4
totally,
years.
but now that would be like great. Yeah.
But and my parents were like, well, that's fucking insane. To not, they didn't say that, but like they came home and they're like, well, we got no fucking help from Warren Buffett on this problem.
I mean, yeah, listen, like
I basically ended up doing it, where I basically just spent their money.
I was gonna say, in a perfect world, it's probably like I'm gonna like go start a business or I'm like gonna invest it in this way, that way, and like most kids are fucking dumb. But it's like, I don't know, you kind of found.
It was basically I went to
way.
college for 3 years and failed out a bunch of times, and then had one more year where they helped me with rent in New York for a year. And you
made it into this. Yeah, I mean, I think that it'll be less of a. I think we're still like, even as late as Barstool, like when Glenny and Robbie and Rhea, I was like, just work here part time and like get your degree. And like that was clearly not the right answer. They all dropped out and they all made like careers for themselves. And had they been fucking around at like Baruch classes, they wouldn't have, But even so, as recently as like a few years ago, I was still thinking like, you got to go. But so now I think by the time my kids are in school, I'd be like, you can if you want, like, or hopefully there's some sort of bubble that bursts.
I feel like
by
the time your kids are in school, it's going to be like, if you want to go party for 4 years, like we've always known that.
Now we're just owning. We're just saying what it is. It's like, it's just going to be a 4-year social experiment.
Yeah,
right. But there is some value in that. I do think,
100%.
If Keegan told me like I'm going to go be an electrician, I'd be like, cool. But also, like, we got to make sure you, like, make friends and have those years of partying, like, because that's as important, what I mean? Like, I would almost be like, okay, I'm not worried about work. Now what I am worried about is your social life. It's all, that's why, it used to be, I think, kind of the best of both worlds, where you were getting that experience, and then you got this degree or this social proof of, like, I will hire you, I will interview you because of this thing.
Open the door for that.
And now I don't know if it really does, like, one way or the other.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if before, when I had like real sales jobs, like a lot of places, I only have an associate's. So like bachelor's or better, I'm like, I can't even, it would close the door on some options for me.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying this, I think, just the other episode, like, I think there was a time where like a law degree, a doctorate, or like even an MBA meant like you're going to get into like management. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now I don't think any of that means anything.
It depends. I know like my wife has all that stuff and she needs it for what she does. So
Yeah.
like she has her master's, she went and got all that stuff. So like it depends on what line of work you're in. But I just think this attitude we had, which my dad was a stagehand. So like he worked with his hands. He never finished 8th grade. And the idea that we kind of turn our nose at like welders or people that work with their hands, like auto mechanics,
but I
do
think it's coming back.
It's so shitty. Yeah. I think you're right. I think now we're finally like respecting these guys again. Yeah. It's like, no, they make a lot of money. They don't have college debt, and a lot of them own their own businesses.
Also, I think there's a way now to kind of put the two together. Like there was this dude who was, I believe, a plumber, but some sort of plumber, mechanic, plumber, electrician, construction, whatever it was. And I used to. When I would make a video being like, my water pressure sucks. And he would be like, he would send me a video or send me a DM being like, unscrew this, take off this thing. And he would always kind of just talk me through whatever little house problem I was having. And it was always very effective and worked. And I was like, you should do this. And he made like a YouTube. Now he has like 250,000 subscribers.
Really?
And it's like Dave DIY. And he just like he just found this niche of like people who you go to YouTube and it's like, here's how to fix your faucet, here's how to fix your this, fix your that, and
that's like such a good thing because like there are sometimes like it's different, but like I'll be doing some workout and I'll be like, I don't know how to do that, and you Google like how to, and
YouTube,
then like,
and there it is.
It just pops up right there. I'm like, damn, okay, that does make a lot of sense.
And so now if you can take like I do plumbing, electrician work, whatever, but now I turn it into like this social media business, like, you know what I mean? I think it used to kind of be like you didn't have like the brains or the means to like you know how to work with your hands, but you know how to do the rest of it. Now I think it kind of all comes together where it's like, you know, I can use the internet, I can promote my business, I can be the business owner while still doing the physical thing, and it kind of all, you know, you can make a little empire for yourself. You know what I mean? So now's the time to be able to, if you can do those things, there's just less barrier of entry to do all the other shit now. So it's like if you have the skills, you can now do the business side of things based on, you know, fucking YouTube.
Right.
Whereas it used to be like you need this diploma to even get in these conversations.
Right. You can learn from other. It's way easier to like information, but it's way easier to learn anything you want without like you're having to go to some fancy college.
Right.
Which is awesome.
I mean, I definitely, by the time I need to make that decision, I think it will be like either the price will be like we're not doing this, like no. Or at the very like least, like you can if you want, but like
if we're in a situation where you can't afford it, then we're really fucked.
But honestly, I was thinking about that. It's like, I mean, I've obviously done well, but like not like, you know, it's gonna be $400,000. Like my kids will be in school at the same time. You know what I mean? So it's like if it's $400,000 for both of them, like just $1 million to like, it's a lot. It's a lot of money for anybody.
That's
you know
a lot
what I mean?
of money.
A lot of fucking money.
But also,
like I got to start planning for that. Like that's a whole other thing, you know.
My thing with planning is like
fuck it.
Is like we're gonna in 10 years when the kids have to like we're gonna live on a different planet.
Like college might not even exist.
The world
for all
will
we
be
know.
like the way the world changes now with technology is like I feel like it's always changed very fast or pretty fast. But like once technology got introduced and there's new technology every year, like we literally live on a different planet than we live on.
Exponential curve is bananas, dude. And I think it's gonna get crazy. I really think the AI stuff is gonna, like, I know we used to joke around about like what does AI even really do, but it's because it's still like at the infancy of it. And as soon as that stuff can get applied like in a literal way, I think even stuff going on the internet right now, I think there's way more AI than we even realize. I think like many of even the things you're talking about, like how-tos and the YouTubes and like, I think are just, there's no humans behind that. Some of those channels, you know, like
for sure. Like, dude, I'll tell you what.
Okay, now let's talk about comfort. Because if you're sitting all day, which basically everyone in the world does, hours making a podcast, whatever you are doing at work, you need a chair that's actually built for your body. And right now, X Chair is making it easier than ever to upgrade with their anniversary sale. Okay, for a limited time, you can save up to $600, $599. I probably shouldn't round up. I should read the ad, read as is. You can save up to $599, and that includes some seriously premium upgrades. We're talking about dynamic variable lumbar support that adjusts as you move, SciFlow Infinite Recline for effortless comfort, and even cooling massage features. Yeah, we're talking massages here, everyone. So if you're ready to treat your back and yourself to something better, now's the time. Don't wait. The deals will not last forever. Hit up xchair.com to shop the sale and even save up to $599 today. Use code KFC100 for $100 off orders of $500 or more. I'm going to read that one more time. Hit up xchair.com to shop the sale. Save up to $599 today. Add code KFC100 for $100 off orders of $500 or more. Thanks, XChair.
Porn titles created by AI now.
Yeah,
I'm like, this isn't even fucking accurate.
Lost that human touch.
I want to know, there was some dude who slaved over shooting that who's like, okay, wait, should I call her like barely 18? Yeah. Should I say college student, stepsister? Dude, what are we going to go with here?
If I see an AI title, I get so mad. I'm like, that is not what's happening in this video. It's because like I've noticed over the last 2 weeks, it's my whole Pornhub front page is all fucking AI titles, and I'm like, well, I'll go to X videos then. Fuck it. I can't get
You've lost my business, sir.
I saw one where it was like, I forget who the porn star was in it, and it was like teen slut. I was like,
she's a
that's
MILF.
a MILF, dude. Get the fuck out of here.
Did you see what Lisa Ann did, by the way?
No.
She like licensed her AI rights or something. she said like if you have she has like Lisa Ann trademarked, but that's like for the human world. Apparently like normal copyrights and trademarks don't apply to like the AI world. You need to almost have like some sort of digital trademark also made.
Okay.
I was watching a clip of it. Large was telling me about it behind the scenes. I was watching a clip of her on You Got to Try This, and so I only got the brief thing. But she, somebody is creating like an AI version of her doing porn, and she's like, I don't do any adult stuff anymore.
Large was kind of telling me about that. That doesn't interest me at all.
Me neither, but there's probably people out like if you are a Lisa Ann fan, she said she got her implants taken out and she licensed this AI thing at the same time to be like it was kind of like a physical and metaphorical thing at the same time. And she says that people are like, are you filming? Are you doing this or that? And she's always like, no, but I have she called it like a digital replica or something like that. She was like, it can do anything you want. You can talk to it for 24 hours, like all that shit. But so like, I don't like that. But if you were a Lisa Ann fan, like one of those diehards, and it's like, it's this or nothing. She's never shooting anything new. Those guys have probably seen like everything she's already done. Then you might go down that path.
I'm sure the market for it is vast.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, personally for me, like
I don't want to watch a robot fuck.
Being like you can make it do anything you want. I'm like, it's like going to a restaurant and they're like, we can cook anything. I'm like, what are you good at and what do you want to do? It's like I don't want.
I saw a video the other day that was like 4K or whatever. It was like such good camera that I thought it was fake. And I didn't like it.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And then I clicked in, and I was like, "Oh wait, no, this is real." But it was so like
it was
clear.
The Joe Burrow video of porn. When we run out of the tunnel at LSU, and you're like, "What the hell is that?"
But it was too good. It made me think this is fake, and then I don't want to watch it. Rather than like, "Oh, this is actually just like the best quality porn you've ever watched."
It's not even just like, but like
the also, uncanny valley type shit.
And the idea of like making like. It's weird, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'm just such a goddamn gentleman. But like things done in a porn, I know they wanted to do it, and they can be like,
well,
well, obviously there's some very extreme versions of porn, but regular porns, you're like, yeah, we're actors and we're working here. If you're like, I don't know, like say there's some fucking porn star who never did anal and they do this AI thing.
It's like that's not.
And you're like, I don't like that. It feels like it's doing something.
You're like
no. What do you want to do? Let's do that.
But we're old school, man. There's probably the next generation that's like, I want to dial up my porn digital replica and make it do whatever I want.
I think you're right. Everything's gonna change AI. Like there's businesses that have their own corporate, like their own AI, like in house.
Yeah. The AI agents they call it. It's just basically like. It's just going to be like there's an AI thing that does something that does all the work you need to do.
Nikki Smokes wrote a blog in AI, and you wonder, like, all right, like, is that what's going to happen to, like...
I was thinking of that as, like, cheating, but, like...
Me too.
But... this is not a great example, but, like, when I used to write blogs, I had a tab open, and I had thesaurus.com right next to it. And every time I needed another word, I threw it in there,
Yeah.
That's... I think a much lesser version, but I'm sure there's some old school people who were like, "Well,
everyone had the sources when you were in college. You had back when I went to college, we had the book.
Yeah,
but I had the source.
But it's like using calculators. It's like there's always forums. This is now we're like jumping ahead, but I'm sure there's some purists who would be like, "Well, that was."
I think that takes the humanity out of it. I think finding a different word doesn't change the humanity of it. I think when you have AI do something, and
I would agree with you, but I'm just saying that like,
I think it's not the Nikki Smokes thing. I think it's like a cultural thing.
Yeah,
and it's like, well, how much of what we take in as media now, not just blogging, but anything is going to be like AI, and like how much are us, the old guard, going to be accepting of that? And will the young guard be like, this is totally fine. This is what I grew up with.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean.
And that's kind of scary.
But I think it's just normal old generation, young generation stuff. Like every time I cut on social media now, and it's just like, look at this doll. I'm like, all right, I don't care about that. Right. But like the young kids do. So I'm like, all right, dude, go nuts, guys.
What do you mean, look at this doll?
Like the action
some
figures.
AI thing that
was the thing last week.
They're like, look, they made me into a doll. And like everyone goes nuts about it. I'm like, I don't know. That doesn't move.
Yeah, we're just getting old. We're just old.
Right. Like I was actually thinking about the other day, like social media, they're like bars. And it's just like bars you hang out on the internet.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm too old for this bar.
Right. I'm going to graduate over to here.
Yeah. It's like the bar doesn't suck. The bar changed and it attracts a new demographic. But like cool, good for the bar. They seem to be doing well, but like I don't really fit in
You should
here
go to
anymore.
this restaurant over here. Yeah, I'm with you.
I think the AI thing is so much bigger, like, because like what happens when there's like self-drivers, like what happens to all the truckers, like now you have a whole entire industry that's now out of work at the same time.
Yeah, that's where it always gets dicey. But like that's where like the stuff I'm doing with Opus is creating clips and producer work that you can view it as like it's replacing an editor or a producer. I view it as like it's freeing up that editor and producer to do real producer work now. You know what I mean? Something like a trucker is like, that's literally what I do. You're taking it away.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of these things in the content world, at least, is like, now you don't have to do this like grunt work editing shit. Go be creative. Go be funny. Go actually work with the content to make it better. You know what I mean? Like use these things rather than just be like, this menial task that I do, that I rely upon to prove my value, like, you have to be more irreplaceable than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
like
fair.
provide more value. If a computer can do the shit that you do, then you need to do something bigger and better.
But it's actually like I think that's a little different. Like that, something's like your trade. Like let's say you work in a factory and you build cars.
Yeah.
That's what you've done for 30 years.
Like
that's
easy pass. Like if you're a total
Right.
person, you're just out.
And yeah, you're just out. Like it's all you've done. It's all you know.
Well, but it's almost like we were talking about
sucks.
earlier. It's like it sucks for you, but it's making the world a better place. Is like it's kind of hard to.
And in theory, you could argue like self-driving trucks would make the world like safer. Like in theory, right? Like you'd have less auto accidents in theory.
I think it's gonna be very funny looking back when people like there's gonna be generations who are like, you guys drove the car, you were in control of it, going like almost 100 miles an hour, and you guys allowed that. Like it's crazy.
People are gonna be blown away by it. It's the most dangerous thing we do.
Right. Absolutely. But I you know it's that's always gonna be like kind of the push pull of AI in that regard. But I like even writing a book is like, I would think if you want to write a book, like you should write a book, right? But like if I could use AI to like, if I just like kind of blab out all my thoughts and then it's like put this together, like organize it for me, like where do you draw the line?
Right.
Like I used it as a tool, the same way like a very 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 basic version as like what I said about the thesaurus. It's like where does it become 51%? Where it's like now this is too fake. I know. Because everything is just using a tool until it's like you've gone too far. But it ain't. But the more important thing is it ain't stopping. So it's not like
No.
So you better get on board.
This is the
rather than digging your heels in.
Tiny
and just
tip
fired.
of the iceberg. I think this is going to be like
Black Mirror shit.
Be everything.
Like,
but we also like Black Mirror shit. Like that's something we've said for 15 years. Like it hasn't really happened. Like,
but I do think that they're like when it goes exponential. You know what I mean? It's almost like whatever the next like microchip that they create like opens up a lot more.
Things have changed though. I'm not necessarily negative, but you even said like we're in a different world now than we're
for sure.
Like so things are changing.
Humanity,
fast.
I don't think changes that much. The world itself, the world we live in, changes for sure.
Yeah.
But like humanity, I haven't.
You're still gonna have the basic like drivers of the reason why people do things.
Is that his name? The guy that has like what are the things that drive us?
Hierarchy
hunger,
of
sex, like what are the same things that drove us back caveman.
I just think that we probably all are like start at level 3. You know what I mean? Like at some point, I mean, of course, there are people who are less fortunate who are still worried about like survival and shit. But I think technology almost like we're all way higher to the top of that pyramid now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, evolution. Do you think would help with that? Right, but I think there are a lot of people like are in like dire straits, especially like other countries.
Yeah.
Like, we're lucky we're in this country, but will technology be able to help them? Like we'll be able to help, like maybe solve hunger as far as building bigger tomatoes or what have you. I don't know. Right. So I mean, there is like you said, there is a positive side to it.
AI, a big initiative for AI is big tomatoes.
Really?
No. Oh. I just thought it was funny. Imagine they were like, we figured it out. Giant tomatoes, guys.
And we solved hunger.
You can only feed one person with this. Nope. Now we got tomatoes this big.
In any country. Giant tomatoes everywhere. That's my plan. Save the world.
I love it.
And everyone can have a healthy weight like me and look like me. That's what people want.
Nobody's 109 anymore. Everybody's got big tomatoes.
Everybody still is weirdly skinny, but yet this one metric says you might be healthy. That's what everybody is.
All right, good shit, man. You gotta go. What are you doing? Some wrestling stuff with Bob?
No, I have a call, and then I have to go see a movie later.
Oh, that's right. What are you
I'm going to see Drop.
Oh, I heard it's good.
What's that one?
It's a woman on a first date, and she gets an airdrop on her phone saying you have to kill your date.
Oh,
or they'll kill her son.
Very what was that Flight movie?
Jason Nonstop.
Right.
Oh no, Nonstop was with Liam Neeson. No, was it?
Carry On.
Carry On.
That movie sucked.
Love that movie.
He loves it.
I was streaming. Yeah,
dude, I watched that like 8 o'clock in the morning in a hotel room in I don't know where I was, and I was like, "This is the best fucking day ever."
I've been trying.
I was in Austin, Texas. That's where I was.
Been trying to see every movie that has 1,000 screens or more. So I've seen like a lot of like.
What'd you think of Minecraft?
I actually didn't mind it. It was stupid.
I don't think
it
that's.
was dumb.
I just think like people comparing it to the Mario Brothers is crazy. Mario was far better than that.
I didn't see Mario Brothers.
Oh, Mario Brothers is fucking awesome.
The Monkey is not the worst anymore. Right now it's in the Lost Lands, which was a movie with Mila Jovovich and Dave Bautista. It was just terrible. It was
Yeah,
I love
never heard that from
I
anywhere
hate
else.
when you like a movie.
You hate when I like the movie.
Yeah, I love when you're like, this movie is irredeemable. Like you always have a good word where it's like, this is just the worst movie you've ever seen.
Love Hurts with Kiwi Kwan and the girl from West Side Story. That was horrific. That was like, so bad. You're like, what?
There's
why?
some. I mean, more often than not, they're bad movies.
Why was
It's
this
just like-
made? Yeah.
Like you know, it's like hard to make it in Hollywood, but also there's part of me that's like, is it? Because it's like, what the fuck's going on? All these movies suck.
43 movies, and I can only recommend like 16 or 17.
Yeah, that's
so most
crazy.
are bad. Yeah.
You know what?
I have a hard time with your reviews because I don't want to watch them until I've seen the movie, and then I forget to go back and
I
see
try
it.
not to give any spoilers, so I
Okay.
do try.
But even like I don't like hearing
I get
about
it.
anything.
That's
I
right.
like going to like it's a fairly recent thing I've done. Like I don't like to know anything at all before I go in, and
Which is kind of crazy to me.
I think it's a great. That's the way I would ideally go in. But like this movie
I
dropped.
feel like I gotta know like what's the premise here,
so, like
because I gotta know if I'm sitting down in a movie and it's like, where are we going? Like,
I just want to know the genre.
I'm not getting in the car until I know the destination.
I wish I could. Especially where I'm seeing anyway, so I might as well. But like this movie drop has been in every fucking trailer.
Yeah.
For like the last 4 months. So I've seen this trailer. I could do the trailer word for word almost. It's like so I feel like I know the movie.
Gotta go. Yeah. Well, that's another epidemic. Trailers that are like 5 minutes long, and it's like, well, okay,
And they
I
give
know
the whole
movie.
thing away.
Yeah,
It's
I know
like,
what I know what happens to this. Yeah. You know, I saw somebody on a podcast had a good idea. The Oscars should every like 30 minutes or something eliminate one of the movies for best picture.
I love
So
that.
Like it keeps you engaged
And
the whole
public
time,
voting.
and then you get down to the very end, and it's like,
I want to know what percentage.
oh,
each
best
one-
stunt, by the way, is a cool idea.
Yeah,
That is a cool one.
I think that's also like we gotta do this while Tom Cruise is still alive. Yeah, but that's
If you
a
have
very
the 10
cool.
best movies, I want to know what percentage the 10th got for best. Like, was it really embarrassing? Like, I want to know.
I mean, I think if you were to do that, it would be cool because, like, all right, hour number one, we're gonna get rid of this movie. We know nobody knows.
This
I was
is-
gonna say
was
you
10
know the
for, like,
two
First
that
five.
are
That's why it's funny that they extended it to 10 because
three
5
others.
are off the fucking list.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
There's not like there's nobody that's like fifth that you might also win.
they did it because of The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight didn't crack the top 5, and Oscars wish it had because it would have improved ratings. And if we do it at 10, it'll have more blockbusters.
10 to
in
me
there.
feels almost.
But
too
I don't
much,
think it's
though.
really worked that way. Like,
I mean, I remember when I saw the Top Gun Maverick was nominated for Best Picture. I was
I
like,
did like that. a lot.
I love it, but it's not Best Picture.
Yeah.
don't know.
I
It's
really
kind of
liked
a
it,
bad
but
year.
like that was.
I mean, it's just Top Gun. It's just a Top Gun movie.
The original Top Gun I think is goofy and stupid. Top Gun Maverick I think is good.
I-
I'll stand up for Top Gun.
I agree with you, but I still if you're having 10, sure, throw it in the 10.
Yeah, if
but
it was
like,
5, no way.
I wouldn't put it. Like I loved it, but like I wouldn't walk out being like that's the best picture.
I still think Best Pictures should be reserved for basically movies that I hate.
No.
I think it should be an
No.
artsy,
No.
fucking intense, over the top, dramatic, like yeah, I think those are what Best
Absolutely
Picture should
not.
be.
The way Oscar works is if you stop having this genre bias. Like Marissa Tomei won an Oscar for My Cousin Vinny and deserved it.
Yeah, that'll never happen again.
And like, when's the last time you seen a comedy? Like, it's so hard for comedy.
There should just be a comedy category.
They should incorporate. They should stop being so snooty.
But
and,
I
like,
think it's
incorporate
hard though.
Everything.
I think comedy should be like I've always said that Jim Carrey in Liar Liar is like I think the greatest acting performance of all time. As far as like I'm pretending to be something on camera, it's incredible. But I'm not going to put that up against like Adrian Brody at the fucking Holocaust.
I think
it should
you
just
should.
be. It's hard though. It's
Now
just
that
apples and
movie is
oranges.
not. I don't think that movie is very good. But his
performance,
performance is
yeah.
incredible and should
The
have been
Grinch.
nominated for an Oscar.
Jim Carrey as the Grinch. I mean, he became the Grinch. He like literally became this monster. You know, these are amazing acting performances, but I can understand why you don't put that to like Dallas Buyers Club or some shit like that.
It's too bad. It's too bad. It's too bad we have this genre.
But I
bias.
think that they're doing the stunts and they
Stunts is
even
good.
for that Black Panther thing for 1 year, they at least considered it. It's like everything else that they're kind of broadening their.
I hope so. I hope so because I think that's how you get Oscars to a more like wide-ranging audience.
Yeah.
Because like the ratings like they're very good but less and less people watching TV. So you need to like really include everyone. You need to be as inclusive as possible.
You know what? I will end on this, but I really always thought we should do is if it takes a lot, but I think if we came up with like a Barstool Awards, That's almost like a people's choice sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like give away just awards that the people would agree with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And in the first couple of years, and not like these would ever mean anything. It's not like, DiCaprio is going to be given a speech like I won the Barstool Award. But in the first couple of years, nobody cares. But I think it could get to a point where it's like, there's so many people here who like movies and know movies and all that. And if we voted or the fans voted or something, and it was like, this is the best movie of the year in terms of like movie going. You know what I mean? I think there's something there where it's like, because there's too much bias and snooty shit that the Academy. Like, some entity should be like, there's normal. Here are the normal movies,
right.
The normal votes, And
I think like Barstool, I think a lot of the movies that the Barstool crowd likes, I think like I'm in Barstool Twitter with the movies and stuff, and like they have pretty good taste.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
And I think they're a lot more open-minded than a lot of Academy voters who are, like I said, so glued in on what Merchant Ivory's putting out or what this British movie that four people saw.
Right.
Like, no, that's not when you look back in the. So I think Oscars, you look back in the year, it's like 1972. That's the Godfather year or whatever. It's like, but you look back at like, this year is Coda year. It's like, and I liked Coda, but like.
Yeah, I like defined movies.
No one's gonna read. No one's gonna. Right. It's not.
Yeah,
what people
I liked Coda the one time I saw it.
Me too.
Yeah, you're never rewatching that. No one's talking about it. No one's quoting it. No one's like,
And like the year, Get Out. Like Get Out should have won. That year. And I forget what one it said. I'm drawing a blank.
Well, this is the kind of a similar idea to yours. Is Tyler, who we work with? I actually don't know Tyler's last name. Miller. I did know that. He had the idea that Oscars should be given 5 years after.
Right, to see how it ages.
If we just do the 5-year-old Oscars, we just redo them.
Yeah.
And like it's like a redraft.
It's not a bad idea.
Actually, what the real best movie was that year was blank, blank, blank.
Yeah.
You'd have a much better like pulse on it.
Yeah. I also, while we're talking movies, I just remembered, I forget if I've already said this to you. I'm reading Josh Brolin's book. Which is actually really great.
He's had a crazy career.
Yeah, Jake Bass recommended it to me. I've always liked Josh Brolin to the point where I walked by him on the street once in New York, and it was the day I was in a bald cap, and I considered stopping him to be like, Mr. Brolin, you have no idea who I am, but I just want you to know I do have hair. like this is I'm in costume right now. I'm in wardrobe. I love him. And Jake Bass texted me and he was like, "Hey, I'm reading this book. I think you'd like it." And he was kind enough to give me the book, and I've been reading it. I had no idea that he was not a nepo baby, but I didn't know his dad was famous.
He's absolutely a nepo baby.
His
James
dad-
Brolin married Barbara Streisand.
His dad's married to Barbara Streisand.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the only reason I Googled it was because he's telling a story. The book's great. I actually recommend it to everyone because it's like, he kind of writes, you ever read Sam Shepard? He kind of writes like him where it's like very, I guess Hemingway, like very masculine, but like very like thoughtful and beautiful. And the chapters are all over the place. Like it's like one is 1988 and he's talking about Goonies, and one is the next one's 2020, the next one's 1976. Like he's bouncing everywhere. So I was like halfway through the book, and he's talking about going to dinner one night. And at this point, I had known his dad was famous, but I didn't realize how famous. And he's talking about going to dinner when he's like 20 with his dad, Marlon Brando and his wife, John Travolta and his wife, and
you better be a movie star, bro.
and then they put my dad's wife, Barbara, and then put in parentheses a singer. And I was like, who the fuck's his dad's wife? And I was like, Barbara Streisand?
A singer. That's crazy.
But then in the story about that dinner, he's talking about how like Marlon Brando had cut his leg in the car or getting out of the car. And then John Travolta was like, I've been taking some healing classes with Scientology, so let me handle it.
Oh my God.
and he was like,
people.
he's like, I was sitting there watching John Travolta try and heal Marlon Brando's leg with his hands. It was great.
That guy is awesome.
Also,
everyone's a nepo baby.
No Country for Old Men, he broke his collarbone like a week before shooting, and the only reason he got to keep the role was because Llewellyn gets shot in the right shoulder.
That's right.
Oh wow!
And so like he
What
like
luck.
all the time when he's in the sling, like the guy was like, actually in the sling.
Wow,
That's crazy. Yeah.
That's a great little behind
What
the
a
scenes
crazy
to it.
career he had, right? Think of Goonies and think of
I didn't know he was in
Yeah,
Goonies.
he's in
That's crazy.
Goonies.
He's the brother that gets like
Loves drinking or loved drinking, and is awesome. It's again like the chapters are like 3 pages. It's like some of them are even just poems. It's a fun like just kind of flip around, fuck around.
Cool. All right, man. Well, thanks a lot, Klemmer.
Thanks for having me.
You got it, bro. All right, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, like, and leave a comment below. Click that button.
Or I'll cut off my finger.